Hi, friends. Welcome. I'm AmusingJax, and this is Shedding Light Laughter on Life's Learning Curves. Now, maybe like me, you have also experienced a lot of shedding of all sorts of things in your life, shedding of relationships or connections that no longer serve, maybe places, maybe all sorts of things. In my life has completely changed shape from where it was 1 year ago right now. And I am stunned in some ways, surprised in others, and then in other ways, I think I'm getting to the punchline, and maybe some of it I should have seen coming. Huh. So maybe you're in a place like this too, and what's happening for you is as the shedding is happening, maybe it is also shedding light on your life and your situation as I am finding it is shedding light in mine. So, that's a big part of what I want to talk about, not just the difficulties of shedding, but also the practice of shedding light. So, why did I choose shedding light? Well, we've talked about the different aspects that are about letting go when it comes to shedding, but there's also a practice in musical terms that is involved going out to the woodshed where fewer people could hear you when you were perhaps newer and less skilled in your art. And you got to practice there with a bit more privacy and you could improve before you were able to be heard by other people. So, shedding in a musical sense is the art of practicing something. So, in this case, we're talking about shedding light, and this is for me the art of practicing shedding light. Um, I'm excited about it because I have a natural predilection for it, but then also do not be misled. My optimism comes with a lot of depth and a lot of thoughtfulness about implications of things because I'm not here to exist in um, a surface level sort of relationship with this world. That's not what I do. I only seem to really have intense, in depth relationships with folks, um, or not. Like, um, you don't dabble in Jackie. Either you is or you isn't, you know? Um, and that's okay because that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. So for me, a big part of this shedding light, laughter on life's learning curves is going to be about um, shedding lightness as much as light. It is going to be about talking about the things that we might be able to learn. There's a silver lining perspective to a lot of, I think, what I spend time on, and looking for the treasure in the experience, looking for the gift in the experience. And so that doesn't always mean every experience is a gift, and that doesn't mean that we're grateful with ease. You know, you can I'm trying to get to the point where I'm grateful for everything. Um eh, Maybe I'm 70%, 75% there, you know? So I think it's a big ask to be grateful for everything. Some of these lessons are very painful, you know? Gratitude for those lessons I'm working on. But I'm also closer than I've ever been before. So that's kind of exciting. So for me, the process of shedding my former selves, my past, my experiences, the things that aren't really mine, the things that were put on me or placed on me or in me by other people. Um, the deprogramming that all of us, I think, have to eventually choose to do, or I guess we could choose not to. And and what my process has been like through that. And so I I like the positive energy about it because because some of this stuff is just downright treacherous. And if you're not optimistic throughout it, I think it's really, oh gosh, it's just painfully hard. And and so I want to talk with you about the experience, and I want to be honest about it, and I want to have integrity about my own experience, which is one of like disintegration and reinvention over and over and over again. And some of those experiences have been terrifying to go through, and others have been exhilarating, and all of them ended up for my greatest good. And slowly, even the most recent and I think most difficult lessons that I've had to learn are even coming into clarity for me. And that, my friends, is no small feat for me to say that I feel like I've got clarity. So, yeah, the process of finding our way, right? It's not easy. Carl Jung calls it individuation, right? The process of individuating ourselves from others and families and communities and societies, and how we form our own ideas and our own thoughts about who we are, and we're able to eventually stand in that ourselves. For me, it turns out that my individuation had consequences and impacted a lot of structures in my world, um, even the ones that I didn't really think I mattered in, which was surprising to me. But useful, right? No, you mattered even when you weren't sure. So endings can be confusing. Sometimes they're endings that you choose because you get to a point where you're like, no, I know that freedom is on the other side of this ending. And sometimes endings are forced on you, and you're like, why is this happening to me? And I didn't think it needed to. And what do you do with this? Um and then when things are gone and there is a shedding, um, there's a loss and a grieving process that you go through, and um, how you hold yourself through that experience is important to how you integrate it or don't, and whether or not you heal from it or it just traumatizes you further. And it can be confusing, all of it. Stepping out and doing what you think is right for yourself and doing what you think is the best thing for you can turn your whole world upside down. And um, to a lot of people, that might come with a fair amount of external input that it isn't necessarily sought out or um, maybe even needed, but people will have their feelings about what is happening and why it's happening. And there will be ultimately repercussions in relationships when you start redefining boundaries with them. So it can be isolating and lonely. And um, I don't I don't think we talk all about all aspects of this. I don't know how many people who coach in this world actually have gone through the enlightened aspects of it. I mean, I don't know if that's what I'm going through right now. I just know I'm going through something. But you hear people talk about the shiny things and the beneficial things about what happens when you're coaching, but they don't talk about the difficulty that comes with growth and the grief that comes with letting go of the past and how hard it is to see so many things that you invested a lot of time in for a lot of years um, fall away or crumble or fail because you're no longer doing your part to hold them up. And that's intense. And I thought I'd gone through so many things in life before I got to this part. I didn't think there was some sort of enormous possibility. It's crazy, right? Because there's nothing but potential of experiences in this world. But I just didn't think that my little life could blow my mind until this year. And it did. And um, some of it's good and some of it's bad. And all of it's been real, very, very real. And yeah. And I'm grateful to be on the other side and feel like I'm starting to come back out of it. I'm hoping, please let me get close to the end of this transition. This whatever this period of change is that is um nothing short of monumental in my world. So how about you? What are you going through? What's going on in your world? Have you been opting for your lessons or have they been hoisted on you? um when we get to this thing, we've got to figure out what we do with the situation once it's actually been given to us, and so that's where the choices come in, and we get to finally have an impact on, what could the next answer be for us, and could we change the tone, the energy, the experience somehow with the way that we respond ourselves? That's not easy. That's a skill. That takes practice. I have not done anything publicly. I've not been posting or writing or doing anything for um almost 8 months now because of this transition that I've been in and this change that's been happening in my world. And um a lot of it, well, I some of it was voluntary. Um the repercussions of the voluntary actions were surprising. But hey, um life comes at you fast. That's what we're learning. You know, resilience, rebuilding, transformation, all this stuff, they're skills. They're not just like magical words. They're actually skills that we can practice them and we can get good at them. Um, transformation, transformation sounds great. If you're like a Gem and the Hologram fan. You guys remember when she would, Showtime synergy, and then she would transform into the thing, and it was magical, and you didn't have to do any of the work. But transformation in this like 3D world that we're living in here is is very different, right? Transformation here requires effort. It requires work. It's sometimes even if it's the work of letting go and then having to grieve the emptiness or the pain, you still have to go through that process. And so transformation takes a lot of work. And um And it turns out that sometimes the better you get at it, the more painful it is. Like as I've gotten further into my journey, I've had some really heartbreaking moments that I never expected to have, and then also I can feel the clarity coming in because of it. I can feel I already am even understanding some of why this had to go the way that it did. Um, and I just in some ways I hadn't pulled the string or the thread that had given me the word to explain the experience. And so I think that's a big part of why I felt like it was inexplicable, because I literally didn't have the language for it. And that can be difficult. So now that I'm getting through the harder parts of what this experience has been, I'm starting to see where maybe there's a benefit to to a lot of what has happened. And um the clarity that I got was a painful clarity, but it was important clarity, and I needed to see the things that were shown to me, there was light shed things for me, um and I had to look at all of it. And sometimes when you do that, it's disturbing, and you have to integrate and process it, you know? So, these things aren't easy to do by yourself. Maybe maybe you're in a transformation experience yourself, maybe um, you know somebody who is, maybe um, years is coming. I don't know, but here I would love to share with you my perspective, which hopefully is limited on judgment, because I'm trying to limit it with other people because we don't make a difference. Our internal selves do not differentiate between how I treat you and how I treat me. So I work very hard not to judge other people because I'm working very hard not to judge myself. And it's kind of, sometimes I feel like I'm probably the only one in my world who isn't judging me. So if I could do it, it would be great. um, if you're looking for a place that's not based in judgment, I welcome you. If you're looking for how to tap into your own resilience, I welcome you. If you are looking for wisdom and laughter and joy on the road to whatever we are building next, I welcome you. And if you're not sure what you're doing here and you just like the scenery, I welcome. Um, I am excited for all of us because I do believe we called this in, and this is our magic because we are this powerful. Um, and then as we're realizing our power, we get a little freaked out because we've spent a lot of time trying to give it away to other people, things, entities, and beings, because taking responsibility for ourselves, eh, it can be daunting. um, but as we do, and you take this responsibility for yourself and your life and your choices, um, you get to carry the burdens that you've been given. You can decide how many you want to keep, and then you can kind of choose if you want to just leave it all in that bag, or if it's been handed to you, if you want to repack it and sort it out, maybe balance things a little better, you know? Um, one way or the other, you're probably carrying it. So you might as well see what it is and decide whether or not you want to, and if it's the best way for you, or if you could do something that's a little easier on your back or your heart. So, yeah, that's my story. I'd love to share it with you. If you're feeling a little freaked out or stressed out these days, can I recommend hitting a park? I, You just gotta get out and listen to the birds. You know, they're like nature's Prozac. And just listening to the birds can actually help your heart rate calm down. That when they're around and singing, then we are safe and your body knows it. And it signals to your system that everything is well. So do what you can to signal to your system that everything is well. Um, it helps. It really does. And I hope you find ways to shed less light in your world next week. Take care. Well, thanks for joining me today on Shedding Light Laughter on Life's Learning Curves. I am AmusingJax. I am delighted to have spent this time with you, and I hope we get to spend more time again next time. I look forward to it. Take care. Bye.